said that education is the passport to the future, right? And so unless you have your credentials, unless you have your education, it's very hard to affect change in our society, right? And so education is the framework, it's the foundation for all the things that we want our young people to do. If we want them to be engaged in technology, if we want them to be lawyers and doctors and architects or any other kinds of things, as this, you know, a new economy is continuing to grow and develop at rapid speed, if they don't have the skills that are necessary coming out of school, they're gonna be way behind everybody else. It's gonna be a major struggle.
You know what? I will say that I also think this is a time really for our educators, for our students, and for parents and for stakeholders really to leverage the schools and the school systems and say, like, we really want to make sure that we're incorporating the true struggle of African Americans in their history and the role that they've played in Omaha, the role that they played in Nebraska, and even the role that they played in the United States.
You know, when COVID hit, it was extremely important to me to keep neighborhood polling places. I absolutely was not going to go to vote centers like we saw in other major cities where it was hard for folks to get there if they wanted to vote in person, you know, not to mention the health issues. And when we got our new location here, it was critical. I mean, it was an absolute must that we were on a bus route here. And not only for the voters, but we actually have several temporary employees who ride the bus to work here every day from different parts of the city. So, you know, I am mindful, we are mindful of those things in different parts of the city. And we do try to be responsive of those.
So, the vote is very important. The vote, we have to vote for our lives, period. Every vote that we get, local, regional, national, everyone needs to vote because that, again, as Tim said, that affects policy. Policies affect communities and drills down to individuals and businesses. So we must vote. Also, how do we become more powerful? How do communities become more powerful? We must use the leverage that we have. The leverage we have right now, nationwide, we have $1.1 trillion in spending power. We must use that to target the businesses that support what we want. We must use that to force businesses to support what we want. Also, we must use that buying power to buy from businesses in our own communities. And then we need to use that money from those businesses to invest in other businesses.
When it comes to business in the state of Nebraska, especially Black business, and not enough of us are employing our own or scaling our businesses so that we can employ more people. And I know that it's not as easy with all businesses, especially right now during this pandemic. But I think that's always been on my mind. I think it should be a focus. It should be purposeful, you know, and also trying to do our best to use other Black businesses in our services.
Listen, you have to think about sales, and anytime you meet somebody, sales is about building a relationship of trust, telling people what category they can trust you in. And if they trust your character and they trust that you are relatively smart, then it's really hard not to get an opportunity and to get in. But you got to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, Robert said it best. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'll just reemphasize one point, and that's really differentiating yourself from the competition. I mean, you've got to, and the other element I'll talk about are the people you surround yourself with. Because at the end of the day, you don't do this by yourself. You have to be maniacal about talent. You have to be maniacal about making sure that you bring people along that share your value system and that are aligned with the mission and the vision that you put in place. you have to make sure that you do have values, because at the end of the day, your values drive your behaviors, and your behaviors drive your outcomes. All
Right now, it's the time to be innovative and go chase your G's, man. It's not time to be sitting around and worrying. Because I tell you what, man, it all starts in the mind.